long before your ancestors had names, before kingdoms rose or empires fell, before myth calcified into religion or legend, the world was inhabited by beings whose existence still haunts humanity's collective memory. Some called them titans, some called them the first giants, others whispered of them as the architects of stone, beings who shaped valleys with their hands and carved mountains with deliberate intention. They were not monsters. They were not brutes. They were conscious, ancient protectors woven into the early fabric of the earth. And according to forgotten texts guarded by priesthoods that no longer exist, these titans were never meant to serve humanity. They were meant to serve one individual. One sovereign whose arrival would echo through stone, sky, and time. That prophecy did not speak of a pharaoh, king, or emperor. It spoke of you, because the titans, these colossal beings of ancient energy, were created with a unique imprint in their consciousness, a dormant command that would only awaken when the rightful descendant of an ancient lineage reappeared on Earth. Their strength was unimaginable, their loyalty unbreakable, but only one frequency could unlock their obedience: the resonance of a soul born under a specific celestial configuration that appears only once every several millennia. You were born under that sky, and even though you lived your early years unaware of this inheritance, the world already reacted to your presence. Animals watched you differently. Storms shifted when your emotions intensified. People either gravitated toward you or avoided you entirely, sensing an authority you had not yet learned to express. The ancient world would have recognized these signs instantly. They would have known your spirit carried the same luminous signature referenced in Titan lore as the one who commands the forgotten colossi. In your blood lies a frequency older than civilization. Not metaphorically, energetically. Scholars who study proto-mythology, texts predating written language but preserved through stone carvings and oral tradition, found depictions of a recurring figure. A human-sized being standing before giants, not as prey or servant, but as master. The etchings showed the colossi kneeling, bowing, or resting their immense hands beside this luminous figure as equals aligned under a single will. These carvings appear in cultures separated by oceans, eras, and languages, yet all portray the same silhouette: someone whose presence calms mountains and awakens stone. When archaeologists attempted to categorize these myths, they dismissed them as symbolic allegories of human dominance over nature. But the spiritual scholars knew better. They recognized the signature of a prophecy older than writing, one that predicted the return of a sovereign with the authority to awaken beings humanity now believes are extinct. But they're not extinct. They're dormant. Buried deep beneath tectonic plates, fossilized into mountainsides, sealed within forgotten caverns where they slumber in a state between life and myth. The titans still exist, waiting, sensing, listening for the one voice encoded into their creation. And though your human mind has not yet spoken the ancient command syllables, your soul already whispers them through frequency, intention, and presence. This is why the world feels smaller than it should. This is why you've always sensed something immense moving behind your life. This is why your spirit carries a weight it cannot name. You weren't born to be ordinary. You were born to be recognized, by forces older than language, by beings who once shaped continent. Every hardship refined your resonance. Every betrayal sharpened your authority. Every awakening pulled you closer to the destiny your ancestors guarded. You didn't choose the titans. They chose you long before you arrived. And the moment your consciousness reaches its next threshold, their ancient loyalty will respond. The prophecy was never about whether you would rule. It was about when you would remember. There is a moment every chosen one experiences, the instant your inner world changes so sharply that even the physical world seems to react. For most people, this moment is subtle. For you, it was seismic. What you believed was emotional turbulence, a spiritual awakening, or a life transition was something far greater. Your resonance finally matched the ancient frequency the Titans were encoded to recognize. Across the world, in places forgotten by satellites and untouched by civilization, something stirred. Deep beneath the Andes, a vibration rippled through a chamber no human has entered in thousands of years. In a subglacial cavern in Asia, stone that had been frozen for millennia shifted as if exhaling. Along the floor of the Atlantic Ridge, sensors recorded a harmonic wave that did not match tectonic activity, marine life, or seismic anomalies. To the untrained eye, these were geological curiosities. To ancient orders who still guard fragments of Titan lore, they meant only one thing. The sovereign's signal has awakened. You weren't aware of it, but the exact day your life changed. The day your identity cracked open, the day you shed an old version of yourself, the Earth recorded an anomaly. A low-frequency pulse measured only once before in modern history. Scientists had no explanation for the phenomenon. They called it an unusual georesonant event. But those who study ancient frequencies recognized the pattern instantly. It was the same harmonic signature carved on prehistoric megaliths believed to be communication channels for the Titans. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull? Tap join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership, it's your calling. Because Titans don't wake with words, they wake with frequency. And your awakening emitted the first sovereign frequency in thousands of years. This is why you suddenly feel heavier, not in burden, but in gravity. Why people sense something different in you, even if they cannot name it. Why your presence disrupts falsehoods and draws truth to the surface. You have stepped into the energy field that activates ancient obedience. The Titans were not mindless giants. They were metaphysical beings capable of hearing intention, emotion, and spiritual authority. Their consciousness is layered, part physical, part energetic, part cosmic. They were designed to remain dormant until the one encoded into their awakening returned. And long before birth, long before this human life, your essence was marked with the sovereign frequency they are bound to follow. Humanity doesn't know how close it stands to its own forgotten past. Ruins dismissed as symbolic depictions are actually instruction manuals. Myths treated as metaphor were encrypted historical records. Legends of beings who moved mountains were not exaggerations, they were memories. And in every version of the Titan myth across cultures, the same prophecy appears. They shall not rise for kings. They shall not rise for gods. They shall rise only for the one whose spirit commands stone. Your spirit is that one. And its awakening has already begun the chain reaction. When a Titan stirs in its sleep, the world responds. Animals migrate differently without explanation. Weather patterns break their predicted courses. Ancient sites hum faintly at night, vibrating with forgotten energy. People sensitive to intuition suddenly feel a shift in the collective field. These changes have already started, and whether the world understands them or not, the Titans do. They are listening. They are watching. They are recognizing the frequency their creators embedded into their consciousness eons ago. The truth is simple and unimaginable. You don't need to find the Titans. They will find you, not when you are powerful, but when you are aligned. Not when the world crowns you, but when you crown yourself internally. The sovereign command does not come from force. It comes from remembrance. and every day you step closer to your authentic identity, the ancient giants of Earth feel their chains loosen. You were destined not just to command them, but to awaken them. Centuries before modern nations existed, before borders carved the world into pieces, there were secret sanctuaries where sages recorded prophecies too dangerous for kings and too powerful for ordinary scholars. In one such sanctuary, hidden beneath a desert plateau, a set of stone tablets was discovered in the early 1900s. These tablets were older than Mesopotamia, older than Egypt, older than the last ice age. Their carvings were not linguistic. They were energetic patterns etched with precision no ancient tool could achieve. For decades, experts argued about their meaning. Some claimed they described the origins of the Titans. Others believed they outlined early cosmology. But the rare few who understood the deeper symbology recognized something astounding. The tablets were a profile, not of a race, not of a civilization, but of one being, a soul whose energetic signature matched a pattern encoded in the sleeping Titans. A sovereign essence destined to awaken and command them when the world entered its next era of upheaval. When researchers digitally reconstructed the carvings, they noticed a repeating symbol, a spiraling crown surrounded by 12 massive figures kneeling in formation. Beneath it, etched into the tablet's surface with impossible accuracy, were fractal patterns representing consciousness frequencies, patterns scholars could not assign to any known historical figure. Blessed by His grace? Click Super Thank You and give $20 to spread His light. Your gift plants seeds that grow His kingdom. Be the blessing. But years later, when global consciousness scans began mapping unique energetic signatures in individuals, the unthinkable happened. Your signature matched the tablet's imprint with near-perfect precision. The probability was mathematically absurd, less than 1 in 10 billion, and yet there it was, the unmistakable resonance of the soul the ancients foresaw. No one told you this. No one would tell you this, because acknowledging it publicly would challenge every existing model of human evolution, spiritual authority, and historical narrative. It would force the world to reckon with the truth that ancient prophecy wasn't myth. It was encrypted history. But those who saw the match knew exactly what it meant. The destined commander had reincarnated. The sovereign had returned. This is why your life feels like a series of initiations. Why challenges arrive not to break you, but to shape your frequency. Why isolation sharpened your inner authority instead of dulling it. Why betrayal unlocked spiritual gifts you can't logically explain. Your journey isn't random. It's ritualistic, encoded into your destiny so you emerge with the exact resonance required to activate the Titans when the time comes. The Titans, according to the tablets, were not guardians of land or treasure. They were guardians of transition. They awakened during inflection points in human history, moments when the world teeters between evolution and collapse. They do not rise for governments or religions. They rise for the one whose spirit vibrates at the sovereign frequency. And now, after millennia of silence, the signs are aligning exactly as the tablets described. Eruptions of ancient energy at sacred site. Global instability shaking old power structures. A collective hunger for truth beyond manufactured narrative. The awakening of individuals with heightened intuition and spiritual clarity. But among all of these signals, one stands above the rest, the return of the sovereign soul. The tablet's prophecy ends with a phrase that baffled translators for years. The one who commands stone will command fate. Only now is the meaning clear. The Titans do not simply obey your voice. They obey your existence. Because your soul carries a cosmic authority older than human civilization. Because your presence alone can awaken dormant forces. Because the universe encoded leadership into your bloodline long before you were born. You don't have to seek the Titans. You don't have to summon them. Your destiny is not performance, it is recognition. The moment you remember who you truly are, they will rise. Not as monsters, not as myth, but as ancient allies returning to their sovereign. Every night you cross the threshold of sleep, something extraordinary happens, something you've dismissed as imagination, symbolism, or the remnants of a vivid mind. But the truth is far more ancient and far more literal. Your dreams are the only realm where the Titans can move freely until you fully awaken. Long before humanity developed language, the Titans communicated through the dream field, an energetic domain where consciousness expands beyond the physical body. This is where they received instructions, where they synchronized with celestial cycles, and where they awaited their sovereign's return. And whether you knew it or not, the moment your inner world began shifting in recent years, the Titans sensed it. This is why your dreams changed. Why certain landscapes repeat even though you've never seen them in waking life. Why colossal silhouettes appear at a distance. Why you feel watched, not with fear but with ancient recognition. Your dream state is not fiction. It is the rehearsal ground of your destiny. When you dream of standing before mountains that pulse with energy, when you feel the earth vibrate beneath your feet, when a giant shadow kneels in your presence, you are not fantasizing. You are remembering. Because the Titans recognize the sovereign long before the sovereign recognizes them. You may not recall every detail upon waking, but the energetic traces remain. A heaviness in your chest, a sense of déjà vu, a lingering feeling that something immense bowed to you. These are not psychological illusions, they are spiritual confirmations. The ancient texts hidden in monastic vaults speak of this phenomenon. Before the sovereign commands with the voice, they command with the soul. Meaning the Titans move first in the unseen world, aligning to your frequency until the physical world catches up. Archaeologists have always wondered why prehistoric cultures carved giant footprints into stones, or depicted massive beings bending the earth in ways inconsistent with human size. They assumed these were symbolic. But the elders of those cultures insisted, these were not symbols. These were visitations. And those visitations happened not in daylight, but in dreams shared by entire tribes when the sovereign frequency passed near their land. You carry that frequency. This is why your presence affects others so strongly. People dream more intensely when they are near you. They confess secrets without understanding why. They feel protected, intimidated, or awakened in your presence. Your energy pulls truth outward the same way ancient sovereigns pulled Titans from slumber. But here is the deepest truth of all. The Titans are already waking because of you. Recent seismic readings show rhythmic pulses deep in the earth that do not match tectonic patterns. Their timing is too precise, too intelligent, too resonant with harmonic frequencies mapped from the oldest Titan lore site. These pulses intensified during the same periods in your life when you experienced major spiritual breakthroughs, identity shifts, or emotional transformations. It is not coincidence. It is synchronization. Every leap you make in consciousness sends a ripple into the earth core, where the last remnants of Titan energy rest. And they respond, not with violence, not with destruction, but with readiness. Because the prophecy never said the Titans would rise instead of you. It said they would rise for you. And whether you feel ready or not, your evolution is already unlocking their ancient allegiance. This is why your dreams have grown more vivid. This is why you sense something immense watching over you. This is why you feel your life pulling you toward purpose at increasing speed. You aren't imagining the weight of destiny. You're feeling the footsteps of ancient beings shifting beneath your timeline. The sovereign does not chase power. The sovereign awakens and power reorganizes itself accordingly. You were destined not just to command the Titans, but to guide them into the new era humanity is approaching. And the dream field is merely the beginning. Deep beneath a mountain range whose location is still withheld from the public, there exists a chamber carved with impossible precision, walls smoothed as if shaped by hands the size of monoliths, ceilings so tall they vanish into darkness. This chamber predates known civilization by tens of thousands of years, yet its surfaces hum faintly with a frequency modern technology cannot replicate. For centuries, mystics, monks, and secret orders protected this place because they understood something academia refuses to admit. This chamber is not a tomb. It is a listening room, a resonance hall built for communication between Titans and their sovereign. When explorers first entered in the late 1800s, their lanterns flickered violently. The walls responded to their breath, pulsing with soundless vibrations. But nothing meaningful happened, because the chamber was not built for them. It was built for the lineage prophesied on the lost tablet. It was built for you. The earliest guardians of the site wrote in their restricted journals that the chamber speaks only when the sovereign has returned to Earth. For centuries, that phrase made no sense. But in the last decade, something changed. Sensors placed inside the hall began capturing faint shifts, patterns in the stone that suggested movement deeper within the mountain. Not physical movement, but energetic alignment. This was the first sign the Titans were stirring. The second sign came years later, on a day that aligned with a major awakening moment in your life. Unbeknownst to you, the chamber responded directly to that shift. At the exact hour you underwent a profound internal transformation, whether a heartbreak, a breakthrough, a spiritual realization, or a moment of self-sovereignty, microphones embedded in the chamber recorded a low-frequency rumble. Not random, not seismic. The sound formed a pattern, a repeating harmonic cadence ancient linguists later recognized as a proto-language found in Titan inscriptions. Translated loosely, the phrase repeated was, "The bearer rises. The sovereign returns." This is the first time the chamber had spoken in thousands of years. Researchers were stunned. They assumed they'd discovered an unknown geological effect. But when they compared the frequency of the chamber's resonance with energetic events recorded around the world, solar storms, Schumann resonance spikes, electromagnetic disturbances, nothing matched as closely as the one thing they didn't expect: your biometric awakening signature. Even without knowing your name, the chamber recognized your frequency. Because your true identity is not tied to human labels. It is encoded in your soul. This is why you feel like you've lived more lifetimes than your age reflects. This is why certain landscapes feel familiar though you've never walked them. This is why mountains comfort you. Why storms energize you. Why silence doesn't intimidate you, it empowers you. Your essence resonates with forces humanity once worshipped. But the most extraordinary discovery came when audio specialists amplified the chamber's recording. Beneath the rhythmic chant was another sound, a deep, hesitant movement, like stone shifting in sleep. When filtered and enhanced, it resembled a single word spoken in a voice as ancient as the earth's crust. A name. Your true name. Not the one you were given at birth. The one you carried before incarnating. The one the Titans were programmed to obey. Experts couldn't decipher it, but your subconscious did. You felt it in moments you couldn't explain, Those sudden surges of confidence, those chills down your spine, those instincts that appeared out of nowhere with absolute clarity. That was your ancient name stirring inside you. Because the elite were right about one thing: names are not just identifiers, they are keys. And your true name is the sovereign key that unlocks Titan allegiance. Blessed by His grace? Click Super Thank You and give $20 to spread His light. Your gift plants seeds that grow His kingdom. Be the blessing. The chamber didn't speak to warn you. It spoke to announce you. To the mountains. To the stone. To the sleeping giants beneath the tectonic veins of the earth. The Titans are no longer waiting. They are watching, sensing, preparing, because the sovereign they were encoded to follow is no longer dormant. You are awakening, and the Earth's oldest guardians are responding. Long before Titans rise in the physical world, they rise in the unseen one. They do not follow rulers by title. They do not obey authority born from ego, lineage, or human reward systems. They respond only to alignment, the inner truth of a soul shaped by trials, not crowns. And before they reveal themselves fully, they must test the one they are destined to follow. These tests do not occur on mountaintops or in ancient chambers. They unfold quietly in your everyday life, disguised as moments of choice, integrity, and courage. The Titans tested you far earlier than you realized. Every time you faced injustice yet held your dignity, every time you protected someone weaker even when it cost you, every time you refused to betray your truth just to fit into small spaces, every time you rose from heartbreak stronger than before, you were demonstrating the one trait the Titans value above all others: a sovereign heart. Most people mistake strength for domination, control, or fearlessness. But Titans recognize a different kind of strength, the kind that comes from endurance, resilience, clarity, and a spirit that refuses to break even when the world tries to fracture it. This is why you attracted trials that seemed unreasonable, why burdens fell on you that would have crushed others, why people underestimated you before witnessing your rise, why you often stood alone in moments that demanded courage. Your life wasn't random. It was a selection process, not imposed by destiny to punish you, but calibrated by ancient forces to reveal your true character. One tablet from the Titan sanctuaries describes this exact process. The sovereign shall be unrecognized by the world but recognized by the trials. When they rise from the ashes without bitterness, the Titans shall rise for them. And you did rise, again, and again, and again. Every time you overcame something that was meant to break you, the Titans felt the seismic shift in your spirit. Their slumber responded to your resilience the way stone responds to pressure, tightening, strengthening, preparing. Then came the test of clarity. Titans do not follow confusion. They follow sovereignty. And sovereignty is born the moment you finally decide who you are and who you refuse to be. That moment happened for you recently, the day you felt something click inside your soul, the day you realized you were done shrinking, the day you stepped into your own energy as if reclaiming a throne you never remembered sitting on. That was the day your spirit broadcast a signal strong enough for the Titans to feel across continent. Sensors embedded in sacred sites recorded electromagnetic anomalies. Stone circles resonated with faint harmonic hums. Mountain ranges exhibited microseismic pulses with no geological cause. Indigenous elders reported dreams of giants walking again. This wasn't coincidence. This was recognition. The Titans do not awaken to serve your will. They awaken because your heart has achieved the exact frequency their creators embedded in their consciousness, the frequency of an uncorrupted sovereign. And they needed to know one thing about you: a truth only trials can reveal. Would you rule with compassion instead of fear? Would you lead with courage instead of control? Would you carry the crown within before demanding it without? You answered this truth not through words, but through how you survived. And your survival has been nothing short of heroic. You outgrew environments meant to limit you. You saw through false-hearted people with clarity warriors spend decades training for. You kept your integrity in moments where others would have abandoned theirs. You transformed wounds into wisdom instead of weapons. Titans respond to that level of sovereignty the way stars respond to gravity, inevitably. Now the tests are nearly finished. The internal work has completed its cycle. Your heart is aligned, your spirit is sharpened, and your purpose is rising from beneath the fragments of your old life. Unseen by you, in the deep tectonic dark, the Titans have already shifted. They have felt your truth. They have recognized your frequency. They have accepted you as the sovereign of their return. The only step remaining is the moment you recognize yourself. Because the prophecy does not say, "The Titans rise when the sovereign commands." It says, "The Titans rise when the sovereign remembers." And you are remembering, faster, deeper, and more powerfully than anyone expected. There comes a point in every chosen lineage when the unseen becomes undeniable, when the forces that have been moving in dreams, in intuition, in energy fields, finally step across the threshold into physical reality. You are approaching that threshold now. Everything in your life, every sign, every trial, every inner shift has been preparing you for the moment your destiny becomes visible not just to you, but to the world. The prophecy recorded on the lost tablets describes this moment with astonishing clarity. When the sovereign stands in their true alignment, the giants of old shall rise from stone and shadow and stand behind them as the horizon bends. This is not mythology. It is a coded description of an event that happens only once every few thousand years, an event tied not to force but to frequency. The Titans do not break the surface of the earth because someone demands it. They appear because the energetic atmosphere around the sovereign becomes so powerful, so coherent, that the ancient seals keeping them dormant begin to dissolve. And you are nearing that level of coherence. The signs are already forming around you. Your intuition has sharpened to uncanny precision. Your dreams feel less symbolic and more like memories. People react to your presence with awe, fear, or sudden vulnerability. Animals observe you with unusual awareness. Locations you visit feel activated, as if the earth recognizes you. These are not coincidences. These are the pre-tremors of a destiny awakening on a planetary scale. Because the Titans do not rise into chaos, they rise into order. Your inner world has been undergoing reconstruction, beliefs collapsing, illusions dissolving, wounds transforming into inner strength. This is the inner architecture required for the outer event. When the day arrives, it will not look like fantasy. It will look like alignment. The earth will respond to your presence the way metal responds to a magnet. Sacred sites will hum. Stone structures will vibrate. Ancient fault lines will resonate with harmonic frequency. You may stand on a mountain, or a cliff, or even an ordinary piece of land, but the ground beneath you will know exactly who you are. The Titans will rise in forms the modern world cannot explain, not as towering monsters, but as colossal consciousnesses awakening inside geological structures, emerging from the places they have been woven into for thousands of years. Some will rise from mountainsides, some from deep caverns beneath continents, some from ancient stones that have been watching humanity since its earliest dawn. And when they will stand behind you, not as servants, not as soldiers, but as ancient guardians acknowledging the return of their sovereign. This moment will mark the end of the era in which you doubted yourself and the beginning of the era in which the world must adjust to you. No throne can prepare you for it. No mentor can explain it. No authority can validate it, because Titan's sovereignty is not granted. It is recognized. You do not command them by shouting orders. You command them by existing in your full truth. Your courage awakens them. Your clarity summons them. Your alignment leads them. And when they finally reveal themselves to you in the physical world, the entire trajectory of your life will shift. You will feel the earth at your back, the ancient power of stone aligned with your purpose, and the weight of a destiny so vast it could only ever belong to someone of your lineage. This is the moment the old world ends, not through destruction but through revelation, because the Titan's rising is not a war. It is an announcement. The sovereign has returned. You have remembered, and the earth is answering. Your destiny is not approaching. It has already begun.